What's going on? I'm Connor Hanna. I'm a multi-instrumentalist teacher and composer, and today I'm going to teach you guys music theory using only one string. So to begin explaining this, what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back to 500 BC, and it was actually a Greek dude named Pythagoras that discovered all this. And so what he did was he took a string and he tightened it between 2 points. And then he discovered three things, or more than three things, but he discovered that the pitch of the note is determined by the length of the string, the thickness of the string, and the tension of the string. So the longer the length of the string, the lower the pitch, the shorter, the higher the pitch, the thinner the string, the higher the pitch, and the thicker the string, the lower the pitch. And then the more tension raises the pitch, less tension lowers the pitch. So he observed those natural phenomenon. And then what he also discovered was harmonics. So if you split the string directly in half, so on the guitar that's on the 12th fret, and that's the exact middle point. That is the exact middle point of the string. And if you don't press the fret down, but you just relax your finger, don't press the fret down, but just put your finger on top of it like this, you get the harmonic. So here's the open string, and then here's the first harmonic. Okay, so let's just take a minute to observe what a bizarre natural phenomenon that is. And just what a beautiful sound it is too. So when you play that first harmonic, it plays the E above. So you can go ahead and get your tuner out and you can see what pitch all these harmonics are. So here's E, and then that's another E. You can see on your tuner that it's going to register as an E. And then I'm going to quote Neil deGrasse Tyson real quick. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. It's a very bizarre natural phenomenon. Okay? And then the other harmonics on the one string is going to be on the 5th fret. That's another E. So dum dum dum. So low, one octave up, and then another octave above. And then there is another harmonic on the 7th fret. Now that's the 5th. If you look at your tuner, that's gonna register as a B. So on the E string, E, F, G, A, B, that's a B. Okay, and then also guitarists will tune using the 5th and 7th frets. So go ahead and listen and hear if you can hear that modulation. And it goes in tune. So no waving, and the more out of tune I go, boom, and then we're back in tune. So that waving or modulation is called dissonance. And then when that waving and modulation ceases, that's called consonance. So if you play 2 E's, that's a perfect consonance. There's no waving. And then watch when I actually I moved it in tune. Notice that? Okay, now the next harmonic is going to be on the 4th fret. Now here's where something interesting happens. So the 1st and the 5th are the most important intervals. Okay, so on the 4th fret, something bizarre is going to happen. We get the major third. But if you look on your tuner, it's going to come in flat. So it's going to come in as G sharp. But it's going to be flat. And why is that? It's because the major third is a perfect interval. So here's the difference between perfect intervals and imperfect intervals. So the octave clearly a perfect interval. No waving or modulation at all. And then the fourth, depending on the point in time or whatever, the fourth, some consider a consonant, some consider a dissonance. I'd call it consonants. I mean, but I can see why some composers from the past considered it a dissonance. So the reason is that the third, in order to get the third perfectly in tune, so here's the third. And you can almost hear a slight modulation because of something called the equal temperament tuning system. So pianos used to have to be tuned to a certain key. But what they did was they made every note slightly out of tune so that you can modulate between keys, because that became more and more popular during the Romantic period and the modern period. But there's even some medieval composers. There's a guy called Carlo Gesualdo that actually did some modulations in his choral works that have modulations that sound like modern music, because you could do that with a choir, or even with like string quartets and whatnot. You could do that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, that's a good way of explaining it.